Hi, my name is Kylie, and I am the driver for the session, and I'm here with.
Hi, my name is Ronin. I'll be navigating this session.
Cool. So today, we cover chapter 8 and 9. So chapter 8 was just about creating the movie's controller. So I've already done that. So I'm just gonna explain the code. So first off, we are making the imports for movie DAO to access the database. And then we are also exporting the default class, so this just handles the HTTP requests related to the movies. What is that? Sorry. Um, and then we've got our route handler for the get API movies over here. And then we have our first constant. So this constant over here just sets the movie per page query, and then it defaults the movies to 20. And then also over here, we set the page number, and it also defaults the page number to 0. Next, we create the filters object to all the query filters if provided. And then also we've got our if statement over here. So if the rated is then query, we must use it to filter. And we also have our else if. So otherwise, we must then check for a title filter. Then we've got our constant over here. So this just calls the movie DIL to get the movies list in a total count using the filters peg nation. And then also over here, we've got the construct for the JSON response for the results. And then this just sends the JSON response to the client. And also we have the static async. So this is the route that handles the get API, movie ID, and all that. And then also we extract the movie ID from the URL params. And then we call the DIO to find the movie by its object ID. And if no movie is found, then it should return a 4 error. I don't know why is my mouse so weird. 4 error. And then also this just returns the movie's object in the response, and then also this just logs a server error if something goes wrong. And then we've got our route handler for get API over here. This is to get the movies. And then over here, this just calls the DAO to get a list of all the movie ratings. And then this just returns the ratings in a JSON format. And we got our error handling here at the bottom. So that was it for chapter 8. And then moving on to chapter 9, where we will be testing our backend API. So first off, let's test the now backend server can access the database. So go to the browser and then type the URL, and it should send back this data over here. So as we can see, it does do that when I enter in the API over there, and it returns all this. And then after that, they want us to go to Insomnia to get for an API browser. I did not use Insomnia, I used Postman. I'm just waiting for it to open. So I created a collection and I called it Code College. And then I headed over to bodies and I created raw. So it can be in a JSON list order. And then I added the URL for the reviews. And I want a post request. So I sent that data, and a status code of success will pop up here. And when I go to my MongoDB, we can see that it has, oh sorry, wrong one. We can see that it has been made over here. It appears over here. So now I'm just going to explain the code of how I actually got it. So to continue, this is how it works. So first off, here we have the staticing and review. So first off, this is how we create a review for the postman, and this is how the document object works. So over here we have to enter a username in the user ID, the date, the review, and then the movie ID. So this will also just be converted into a movie ID string using the MongoDB ID object. So that is how we are pulling the user like this over here. So as you can see, the movie ID, the review, and the name. And that will also just go through the MongoDB. And that is it for chapter 8 and 9. Thank you for watching.